Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Jeremy, and today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. Wow, did I almost really say 2019? I meant 2020. And kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the last couple of days of wrestling. Specifically, initially I was going to do SmackDown talk yesterday, but had some things going on, so didn't get to do that yesterday, so we're going to do a little bit of that today. But we'll also talk a little bit about last night's Raw as well. So let's jump into it. And SmackDown this past Friday night out of Dallas. Or no, I'm sorry. I take that back. SmackDown was from Tulsa, right up the road here in Oklahoma. And Braun Strowman won the Intercontinental Championship, his first singles championship win, which was very nice to see. He deserved it. And I'd like to see where Shinsuke Nakamura goes from here. The Reigns Corbin thing continued, and we got a match, a 6-man match, where the loser had to eat dog food. I kid you not. Dog food. Really? Did we need that? I say we did not. I was not a fan of this at all. It was just disgusting. But yeah, the less said about that, the better. So we'll move on. I want to talk about the match that involved Heavy Machinery, John Morrison and The Miz, Lucha House Party, and The Revival. The Revival taking yet another pinfall. And I was just like, the Revival are criminally misused at this point. And in my opinion, they just need to be given their releases. That's rumored to be something that they've once again asked for in recent days. And I think that's the right call. Just let them go. If you're not going to use them the right way, just let them go. They're just badly used. They just are. They're better than this. Moving on. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross pinning Mandy Rose, who was also who was tagging with her partner in Fire and Desire, Sonya Deville. This was a good match. It was a good match. Short, but it was good. We'll see where these teams go from there. I have a feeling Bliss and Cross are headed for another match against the Kabuki Warriors for the tag team championship on the women's side, but more on that later. And then Sheamus pinned Shorty G in a quick, more or less squash, I guess, with the bro kick. I still don't get the Shorty G thing. I really don't. And I did mention that Corbin and Reigns added dog food as a stipulation for the six-man, which was the main event, and Reigns beat Baron Corbin with a lateral press. And, yeah, Corbin forced to eat dog food. And that was that. Not a show I was a fan of. Or not an ending I was a fan of. I didn't like it. It just didn't need that. Just wasn't necessary. But we'll move on. We'll talk about Raw now. Raw was Raw. Not a whole lot I can say about the show, which was out of Salt Lake City, Utah, which, interestingly enough, was being buried by a blizzard, or at least a heavy snowstorm. And, a lot of people talking about it on the mic. Commentary mentioned it. Drew McIntyre put over Salt Lake City for coming out despite the blizzard. And, so that was that on that. That was interesting to hear. There was some talk of what they would do, given the circumstances. I mean, authorities there were calling for people to stay off the roads. But it doesn't seem like it affected too many people. And so, yeah. That was that. Randy Orton comes out to kick off the show. And he stood there, made faces, finally got on the mic, said he guessed he owes people an explanation for what he did last week to Edge. He eventually trailed off and said, "I can't do this." And he left the ring. Good character development. I like that. Lana versus Liv Morgan was a thing that happened. An Arabian Press reverse STO ended the match. Ruby Riott made her return afterwards. And basically laid Liv Morgan out with a right hand. Kind of curb stomped her a little bit, beat her up. And then that was that. Morgan, or Lana then picked Morgan up, hit an X Factor, and that was that. I'm saying that was that a lot lately. I probably should think of something else to transition with. But anyway. McIntyre made his entrance coming out of the break. To face Mojo Rawley. And Claymore kick 1, 2, 3. That was that. That was all she wrote. Buddy Murphy and the Authors of Pain interviewed backstage going into the a number one contenders match. Really, I did not buy Buddy Murphy as an option. Or actually, let me rephrase that. I didn't buy Seth Rollins as an option to face Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia coming up. I was just like, whatever. Murphy and the Authors of Pain defeated Kevin Owens and Eric and Ivar in an elimination match. Eric was eliminated by a lateral press from Buddy Murphy. And then Murphy eliminated by pop-up powerbomb from KO. Akam eliminated with a stunner. And then Owens was eliminated via a spine buster. And where was Ivar in this? Hold on. Ivar was never... Ivar was never pinned. What the heck? Or maybe he was. Maybe he was. I don't see it. Oh, okay. Ivar was helped to the back. So that left Owens by himself. Okay. I didn't see that. Aleister Black comes out next for a match against Eric Young. And yeah, basically this was a showcase for Black. And I like it. I like it a lot. And I liked his promo where he basically said he would engulf the whole room in shadows cast by black mass, and you'll realize it was a person who was told he could be whatever he wanted to be that did it. I like that. Very nice. Humberto Carrillo and Andrade Cien Almas was recapped coming into a break. And out of the break, we got the debut of Angel Garza. Yeah. So, they introduced Garza as Carrillo's cousin. And, yeah. Basically, Garza cuts a promo on Carrillo and beats him down, and they go to give him a double underhook DDT, but Rey Mysterio makes a save to save or to help Carrillo, and that gets us a match between Garza and Mysterio. Garza then gives or ends it with a hammerlock DDT on Mysterio, and yeah, that's how it ended. Charlotte Flair making her entrance for a promo, which leads to Rhea Ripley making a Raw debut and challenges Flair for the NXT Championship, or to fight her for the NXT Championship. And we didn't get an answer. Later on, they would promote it for NXT tomorrow night. So that's going to be interesting. Bobby Lashley interviewed backstage, saying he's going to win the number one contenders match and then go on to beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. I guess no Lana in that interview, which is fine by me. End that stupid story already and move on. Asuka and Natalya had a match coming out of the break. And this was stiff. It was stiff to the point where I later saw a photo that Natalya actually got a bit of a black eye. And, yeah. So, they were quite stiff. And, that led to Asuka cutting a promo in Japanese after defeating Natalya with the Asuka lock. She called Lynch out, demanding a rematch. Lynch asked if Asuka wanted to fight her again after ducking her for a year. And that was interesting because beating Asuka at the Rumble damn near gave her superpowers, and you're damn right she wants to drink from that fountain again. Then she thinks, would she put her title on the line this close to WrestleMania? Well, the only thing more fun than beating Asuka's ass once would be doing it again. She turns around and fends off an attack from Kairi Sane. I'm not a fan of the superpowers talk, but whatever. Seth Rollins comes out, and we get the rest of the entrances for the main event, triple threat, number one contenders match for the right to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at Super Showdown, which Ricochet won. I was surprised. With a 630 senton on Bobby Lashley to become number one contender, after which Brock Lesnar promptly ran in and laid out Ricochet. And that was the end of the show. I don't think Ricochet has a shot in hell to win. They could prove me wrong. I kind of hope they do. But, I mean, this just seems like it's a bridge to get to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, which is where they're going, and I'm alright with that, actually. I'm alright with Drew McIntyre being the next opponent for Brock Lesnar, next major opponent for Brock Lesnar. Again, I don't consider Ricochet to be really anything resembling a worthy, or not worthy, what's the word I'm looking for? Get there. I don't consider Ricochet to have a snowball's chance to win, but that's just me. One thing I do want to note as we go into the rest of the week, main reason I'm recording this little 20-minute podcast, and I'm going to get to 20 minutes, because I'm going to be on the Flawed Laws podcast with a couple of guys local to Oklahoma City. I'm on that show tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. So wherever you got this one is where you can get that one. Again, it's called Flawed Laws, and we talk about laws from all 50 states that don't make any sense. And I'm on that show tomorrow talking about Pennsylvania laws that don't make any sense. So I wanted to get this out there to hype that up. And again, you can download that tomorrow, Wednesday, February 5th, wherever you get your podcasts. So with that in mind, I am going to call an end to this one. You can follow me online at Jeremy Moses85. Follow the show at SCC Podcast. We are on Facebook at Squared Circle Cafe. Email us at squaredcirclecafe@gmail.com. And, so that's it for this edition. I'm Jeremy Moses. Thank you for listening to the show by wrestling fans, for wrestling fans. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.